So we often hear about how expensive housing is in Hawaii, how the prices are just going up and the inventory is so low that it's very competitive. And we're thinking about getting into the housing market right now. I know it's not the best time because things are really expensive, but we have a need for a bigger place. And so I just thought we'd kind of just talk a little bit about what we saw out there. Yeah, it's pretty tough. So we met with a realtor to kind of just see what was available out there. And what did you think about that experience?
It really made me realize how things are like. You know how on the news it's always said, oh, like the housing market is crazy, and but you don't really notice how crazy it is until you actually get yourself involved to it. So it kind of opened my eyes to see what exactly is going on in Hawaii right now. It's so like you hear it's so competitive. It's like you could hardly get it with but then I was like, I guess talking with the realtor, it made me realize how crazy it is, and it was a good experience for me to actually talk to them in person to see that reality.
I think it's a really good point. Like when you're hearing about all these numbers and when you're not really looking, it's just like, whatever. But then like when you're actually trying to look, it's like, oh, like you pay attention, right, to the mortgage rates, and you pay attention to how much you can borrow and what's available, and the average time that the units are actually on the market is so short now that it's, sometimes it can be gone in just like a few days or like a week. And, that's crazy. Hearing some of the stories that the realtor shared, people are putting in cash offers 50 to 100,000 over the asking price. So if you're a seller right now in Hawaii, it's great. You got all these people that are just like desperate, and I think that's really what I sensed from the realtors. Like people are like pretty desperate, and I don't know, are we desperate?
I don't think we're that desperate because we own this place.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we didn't own this place?
Oh man, we'll be pretty desperate probably.
Yeah, and I hope this comes across as we're not really like complaining or like blaming the situation, because it is what it is. The demand is really high and the stock is very low. We live in Hawaii, so a lot of people want to live here. So it's not about complaining about who's buying or whatever. If it's foreign investors or it's people from I know, but it's just more like, I think out of all of this, I'm just really grateful and thankful that we even have a place, and that's something that, for me, it's huge, being able to have that security that we actually do have a place. I think initially we were looking at single-family homes as well as like condos, because we're looking for at least 2 bedrooms. And when the realtor said, like pretty much point blank, yeah, we can't even look at single-family homes because we can't afford it. Like that was kind of hard. How did you feel?
He was like kind of slapping your face.
Yeah.
It's like, wake up. But then, that's what I expected with how our living situation is right now. It's pretty impossible to buy a home unless we inherit it, probably.
Yeah.
So, I kind of expected it, but then I guess just hearing it from a third person, like straight up in your face, it's just always like, ouch,
Yeah. I think for a lot of local families, that's probably going to be out of reach, like it's one of those things that, it's like too bad because, growing up here, I grew up in a house, and so I kind of always assumed that I'd just go live in a house, right? And I wish that homes were like about $300,000 to $500,000 in Hawaii. I think that would be pretty affordable. And like I know, like on the mainland, in some places where there's like a lot of land, homes are like $200,000, and maybe for the people living there, that's like a lot of money. But let me say, you probably couldn't buy a home for $200,000 unless it's like in a lava field or something. It's just like, I don't think they even have those anymore, or it's a leasehold or something. So the realtor showed us kind of what was in our price range in the areas that we were kind of looking at. And what did you think when you saw some of those places? Try not to offend people, because some people watching might live in those places, okay? So trying to say anything too bad about those places, but like,
I felt very devastated.
Oh yeah. Why?
It's just like what we can afford with that amount. with our situation, I mean, I guess to match the number and the place, I guess I didn't have to do that until that day. So when I actually saw what we can afford, I was like out of shock, and then it just made me realize how blessed I am to live in this condo right now. It sounds silly, but then like, a lot of places that we could afford were like they had like not that very strong like security, or like they have bars on the windows so that they can't come in and rob the house or whatever, or like they didn't have that the laundry room was separate, so they had to actually like walk down to the different floors, and most of them didn't have like elevators. And I'm just thinking to myself like, whoosh, it's like how will we I can't even imagine living in a place without an elevator. Yeah, it just made me feel so blessed to be where I am. And then I remember telling you about how we should try to live here as long as possible.
Even if it's a one bedroom.
And if it's a one bedroom, it's like, man, I'd rather live here than be stuck in a smaller place than living in somewhere that has 2 bedroom and being a more dangerous area in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to see like what we could afford, because I think we're also in that same position where I don't even know if we could afford this place. Like if we were to try and buy this place on at fair market value, I don't think we could even afford this place. So we're kind of in this position where, if we go out and buy something that we could actually afford, it wouldn't even be like, it wouldn't really be an upgrade except for the bedrooms and the square footage. But in pretty much every other category, it would be almost a downgrade.
Yeah.
We have AC, we have washer dryer in the unit, we have, good security, association fees are pretty low, the building is fairly new. A lot of these buildings are from the 70s, and it's like the maintenance fees are like really high. So, there's all these different trade-offs that, in trying to find a place, it's tough, and again, I'm just thankful that we have a place, because I can't really imagine what it would be like if we didn't have a place. Like let's say we're living either with my parents or we were renting somewhere and we were looking, and this was the market, this was whatever was available. I mean, we'd have to just kind of dive in and just hope for the best and accept whatever there is. And at least now we have a place that's ours, that we can kind of like take our time maybe and kind of just see what's out there. But yeah, I definitely am really thankful for where we live, and we'll just gotta make it work, I guess, until something comes up. But let's just kind of dream, okay? Let's just dream big. I can just say for me, I'm hoping that we get a 3-bedroom house one day. I'm hoping that we do have a small yard. I don't want to do yard work every weekend, but it'd be nice to have a little grass somewhere, or fake grass maybe. So
fake grass is
we don't have to take care of it. That'd be nice. I think what would also be great is pretty nice sized kitchen, so you could cook and have all the gadgets and stuff. I think having the Japanese ofuro bath would be great. Oh, it'd be so nice. If you've never tried that, you really should try it. Oh, it's so it's like having a hot tub in your bathroom. It's so nice. We don't have that here though. I've never seen.
It's not deep enough.
Yeah, I've never seen someone in Hawaii have that. Maybe I'm sure someone does, but I've never seen it. Having a big place is not so that I could like brag to people, because I would love to be able to like host things. I mean, I really am not a party person, but I think it'd be great, because I grew up in a family where, we would go to my grandma's house, and she had a really big house, because it was like a typical Hawaii house, but then they built an extension to it, so it was like 2 houses, like in one gigantic place. It had a patio and a big yard and stuff, and we'd go there like almost every weekend growing up, and for holidays and everything. And it's harder now because there's not really like that gathering place, because homes are harder, and like my generation is just having a hard time buying homes, so we can't really go to so-and-so's house who's like my age. We gotta go to one of the aunties, or and I wish we could host stuff like that, or like your friends, if they come visit. And I think for me, that's like my bigger vision for having a house, not just to have a family and, you know, have enough room, but just so that, you know, we can host things and people can come and like hang out, you know. And I think that's something that hopefully doesn't get missed in Hawaii in the future, you know. There's always like that central gathering place like for those families. Do you have any advice for people looking for homes right now?
Yeah, just be prepared. I mean, as competitive as it is in the market, at the same time, I'm really happy that I'm going through this journey, because it really allowed me to see all these blessings that I've been having by living in this condo, that I definitely took things for granted. I mean, it's not like we live in like the rich, fancy, like, you know, condo. It's like with all this.
We do.
I mean, it's like, it's pretty simple. Seeing people living those like luxury condos, it just makes me feel like, you know, why am I so poor? You know, even though I'm not really poor, but then like, just seeing how things are, it's hard. It's not as easy as you think. And then I understand now why a lot of young families, or like just families in general, they move to mainland. It's it's tough to make yourself a living here in Hawaii. So,
and I'm sure that there are a lot of other families and people and couples struggling too, and in similar situations. And just know that you're not alone in all this. That, you know, there are people who are trying to look, and that not everyone trying to buy a home right now is like some kind of foreign investor, or like some rich mainland like tech millionaire or something. You know, like there's also like local people who are in there too, and they're scrappy, and hopefully, you know, a lot of us can find places to stay so we don't have to leave. But again, we're just thankful that we have a place here, and that helps us out a lot. It makes it so that, you know, we're not panicked, desperate and panicking, and, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, like, oh, should we move? It's like, I don't think it's gotten to that point.
Yeah, I don't think we need to move yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that helps too. Yeah, we don't need to move. So, but, you know, I figure we'll just look and, you know, see what's out there. So, good luck to everyone who's looking.
Including us.
Yeah, including us. We'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to make this quick video and just share kind of what we're been kind of going through and thinking about. So, thanks for watching, and aloha.